This is the helicopter of choice for aerobatic manoeuvres in the modern era. The German army excelled at this discipline. They used to use the Ball 105 for observation, anti-tank, utility and special forces support duties. Well, those aerobatic helicopter traditions have been taken on with the Ball 105 by the Flying Bulls. And there are very few pilots qualified to perform this sort of display. As far as the Flying Bulls were concerned, the pioneer was former German Army instructor Rainer Wilke. He then trained Chuck Aaron, one of the two pilots of the American-based Ball 105s that Red Bull also support, and the Flying Bulls chief helicopter pilot based at Salzburg, Siegfried Blackie Schwarz. And it's Blackie, as with the Sycamore earlier on, who's flying this incredible display. Twin-engined helicopter, two 460 horsepower Allison 250 turbo shafts. And these of Red Bull and the Flying Bulls, the world's sole aerobatic certified civil helicopters. And so that ends his display, and I'm sure you'd like to show your appreciation to Siegfried Schwarz of the Flying Bulls with the Ball 105C. Thank you very much indeed. We will pass that on to him. But now we're looking out for our French naval contribution to the display at Yeovilton 2018. We're expecting them to run in from our right. With the Paris, the Zephyr, the Falcon 50M, and the two Rafales. Voici les marins. In the lead, the Morane Saulnier MS-760 Paris from the Armor Aéropassion Association based at Morlaix-Plujon Airport, signed off by a display authorization examiner. And to that end, they went over to France to watch the two pilots flying there in order to give them the required signature, get their display authorizations, and allow them to perform here at Yeovilton. In towards us, the Cocarde Marine formation for the break. The two Rafales pulling away first. There's the Falcon 50. They'll be back with us later, but now we have in the lead the Paris, followed by the Zephyr. Saulnier, the manufacturer of the MS-760 Paris, the aircraft company founded by Léon and Robert Morane and Raymond Saulnier, one of the most famous marks in French aviation history, as legendary in France as, say, de Havilland is in the UK. Post-war, it designed a small jet trainer called the MS-755 Fleuret, Fleuret meaning fence fencing foil. That was to meet a requirement of the Armée de l'Air, the French Air Force. That was met by the Fough CM-170 Magister, from which the Zephyr that I'll be talking about shortly was derived. But Morane Saulnier decided to develop the Fleuret design as a four-seat light transport and communications aircraft with a view to use not just by militaries potentially, but also by civil customers. And that appeared with a first flight in July 1954 as the MS-760 Paris. And that's the aircraft that's leading the formation about to run in from our left. Early on, the Paris was ordered in quantity by the French military, which took 50 examples for use as liaison aircraft, and the French Naval Air Arm was the first operator with 14 of them. But they didn't just use them as light transports and communications machines. They had various training tasks still, training in instrument flying, refresher training for officers who'd been on a non-flying staff tour, that sort of thing. They were also used sometimes as radar targets. The French Navy had them in service until 1997. The French Air Force, meanwhile, which had 36 MS-760s, kept them on until 2001. And the Argentinian Air Force, which had them built under license in Argentina, had its Paris in service until 2007. 219 were built. It wasn't very successful as a commercial light jet. There were hopes of sales in the US at a time when corporate aircraft were really burgeoning as an industry. They came virtually to nothing. Frank Sinatra is believed to have owned one at one time, though. Government's civilian flying school operated a few Paris, the Cranfield College of Aeronautics, now Cranfield Yeovilton, Canada Chipmunk, a PL Super Emeraude and a Cap 10 in flying condition, and they've got a couple of restoration projects as well, a Nord-Écran and a Sakata Epsilon primary trainer. So here comes the Paris Interland, flown by Georges Toussaint and Thomas Meslin. Another controls of the Zephyr, meanwhile, is retired French Navy Admiral Xavier Uday. He learned to fly off carriers on the Zephyr. He went on to fly the Dassault Étendard 4M and the Super Étendard operationally. He also flew the French Air Force's Mirage 2000 for a time. He later became the director of the Rafale program for the French Navy. He, as I say, is now retired, but he said to me last night that while other retired senior officers like to play golf or whatever, he prefers to fly this classic jet, touching down now, the CM-175 Zephyr. As the characteristic whistle of the Marboret engine fades away, we're now going to see, running in from the left, the modern-day French Navy's Falcon 50M.
Come on, go. Good. I'm not going to find out something new. It just got tougher, isn't it?
Family of business jets started with the twin jet Falcon 20, or the Mystère 20 as it was then known, which took to the air in May 1963. The Falcon 50 was a three-engined development of that. It was designed to offer sufficient range to cross either the whole of the USA, which was an important market for the Falcon even then, and it still is now, or the North Atlantic non-stop. Indeed, it was the first of the Falcon family to offer a transoceanic capability. The Falcon 50 was certified in February 1979, and the tri-jet configuration has endured throughout much of the rest of the Falcon line. The updated Falcon 50EX was introduced in the 1990s, and that saw production through until 2008, by which time more than 350 had been produced. And only the twin-engine Falcon 2000 has broken the tri-jet mould, with the more modern Falcon 900, 7X and 8X all being three-engined. Quite a few military customers for the Falcon 50, mainly as a VIP transport. The French Air Force was among the first of those. It retired its Falcon 50s in 2011, but the French Navy's very much in active service. And a wing rock on this pass. There are 8 Falcon 50s in use with the French Navy. The first of them were delivered in December 1999, when Flottille 24F received that initial quartet of aircraft. The roles: maritime surveillance, search and rescue support, fisheries protection, pollution control, and VIP transportation, both in France and overseas. One of the key capabilities of those initial aircraft was the ability to drop rescue equipment over the sea, for which a special hatch was provided. The aircraft also fitted with a surveillance radar, a retractable forward-looking infrared sensor pod, which we'll see deployed later in this display, and particularly, you won't have failed to notice, the large observation windows in the fuselage sides. A faster run past this time, around 340 knots. Those first 4 Falcon 50Ms proved very successful in service, so the French Navy decided to buy 4 more, which are ex-Air Force